Later that night, Dad stopped the car out in the middle of the desert and we slept under the stars. We had no pillows, but Dad said that was part of his plan. He was teaching us to have good posture. The Indians didn't use pillows either, he explained, and look how straight they stood. We did have our scratchy army surplus blankets, so we spread them out and lay there, looking up at the field of stars. I told Laurie how lucky we were to be sleeping out under the sky like Indians. We could live like this forever, I said. I think we're going to, she said. So that is a small excerpt from the book The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is a memoir about Jeanette Walls and her family and how it was sort of like the 60s, I think, how her family and them moved around from like mining town to mining town so that her father could build what he called the prospector, which would be a machine that would dig gold from the ground, and then whenever they needed money to go to the store or something, they could just pick out a gold nugget and go to the store. And because of all the money that this machine would make, he would build them the glass castle. So in a sense, the title of this book and the way that and what it represents, it makes sense that she would title the book The Glass Castle, because in a way her parents, which came from her mother came from a very sort of strict family but a good family, and her dad came from a small town but he made something of himself in the army, and in a way it was both of them as parents seemed like they were trying to not make the same mistakes of their parents, so they would let their kids roam free, and they'd say, oh, okay, you're in charge of your own personal grooming. So when Jeanette would when they visit their grandmother, the grandmother would comb her hair, and she's like, doesn't your mother comb your hair? And she said, our mother believes that we should take care of our own personal grooming. And it's just reading it, I actually forgot that they were children for most of the book, actually, because it seemed like they were little adults already functioning. At 3, she caught on fire because she was cooking hot dogs for herself. And so that just goes to show you like how mature she was at 3, but at the same time, you know, she was still just a kid. And within their family environment, at first it really was like a happy family, because when you're a child you don't know any better when it comes to what your parents believe or what your parents think. It's not until you get older that you realize, hey, this might not be right, or this isn't healthy for us as a family. And that realization crept in slowly as the family situation got worse and worse, and sometimes it would happen where the dad would drive to a small town very far away and he would get a job, but then after a few months he would lose the job, and then they'd go hungry, the lights would be turned off, the water turned off. So instead, to avoid the bill collectors, he would just skedaddle by picking up and then leaving in the middle of the night with his family. He did this thing where he'd say, pick one thing, you have an hour and then we're going. So, you know, and then both parents framed it like a huge adventure, and I suppose to a child that would be a huge adventure, but then as you grow older you realize that it's not so much an adventure, it's more of an escape. But at the same time you can see that you can see the duality where she loves her parents, but at the same time she's frustrated with her parents. Like, that happens to everyone. So to see her slowly go through like this hero worship of her father to, in a sense, not really looking down on him but separating herself in a way that for her own like sanity, or for her own sake, just to be free of it even for a little while. And how like her, despite all of that happening, their entire childhood, all of the siblings managed to stay together and they still remained a family through it all. And I thought that was absolutely like groundbreaking, like beautiful. And this is definitely a wonderful book to read. It's a wonderful memoir. So and there's a movie of it, so I didn't want to do a book versus movie because in that sense it felt wrong to judge a person's life that way because it's nonfiction. So yeah, that's it. That's my review. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!